In the modern era of African mixed martial arts, new contenders will stop at nothing to reach the top of the welterweight division, with both Peace Nguphane and HP van Staden fighting to challenge for the welterweight belt, currently buckled around the waist of DRC's powerhouse Ziko Makengele. On the same night, featherweight contender Igeu Smiley Kabesa returns to the hexagon to reclaim what was once his, the 145-pound title, which currently waits for a rightful owner. But also challenging for that right is Nerik The Beast Simoes, who has worked his way through the division all the way to its pinnacle. On Saturday, the 16th of July, 4 African warriors will go to war to prove to themselves and to the world that this is what it takes to be the champion. And this is the countdown to EFC 95, proudly brought to you by World Sports Betting. On June the 12th, 2020, after 4 successful title defenses, Igeu Kabesa stepped foot once more into the EFC Performance Institute, this time to welcome Brazilian BJJ specialist Reinaldo Guerreiro Exxon.
So with the Exxon fight, to be honest with you, I think that's the moment we realized something called ring rust is a thing. I just think our timing was off. We intend to miss a lot of stuff. You don't see a lot of things coming. We knew that we wanted to just be there with him. We know that we wanted to finish the fight. But how we wanted to finish the fight, where we wanted the fight to take place, how to control the fight, we didn't work on all of those things. And I think it just showed, you know? But we're correcting things as it goes. I mean, it's only our second loss. We're sitting with a lot of wins. So, I mean, it's the second time we learned something about myself, so it's good. Yeah, man, I take nothing from the guy. It was his time to win the belt, so it was good. Like any other guy that fought in the featherweight division, nobody fights there and keeps the belt. They fight and they run away. They're not here to build the organization. So it says a lot. You come here, you fight, you beat the champion, you run away. I mean, you're not really as good as you say you are, you know? My journey has just begun. I feel like it's just begun, you know? At this moment where I'm sitting down, like I said, I've discovered something new about me. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait. It's taking too long.
Living and training in the capital city of Pretoria and backed by one of the most renowned fight camps on the African continent, Angola's very own Nerik Simoes prepares for the biggest fight of his life.
Fight camp is going well. It wasn't hard because I'm always in the gym. The moment I have a fight on, we pick up from what we left off. So I'm obsessed with learning. That's why I'm always in the gym, always bothering my coaches. I'm pretty sure my coaches, when they look at me like, oh yeah, he's about to ask me again. When I go to a fight, I prepare everywhere. I take my opponent seriously as usual. I try not to think of, no, this is gonna happen. I just make sure that I'm sharp wherever the fight goes and I'm able to make the right decisions at the right time. From us as a team, the pressure brings the best out of us. And if you don't feel the pressure, you know, you tend to take things lightly. The pressure is every day on sparring. As we walk in, we're looking at each other in the eyes, we're rapping each other. We look at each other like, what tricks does he have up his sleeve today? You know, it's hard when you're fighting the same person every day. Eventually, you start knowing the favorite move, so we're all constantly improving. It's like a daily bread here.
Developing as a fighter as well as a man can often happen at the same time, something Igeu Kabesa has learned to embrace.
I think the change became from my wife, you know? And she sat me down one day, she said to me, I need you to grow up. I was like, what do you mean by that? She was like, no, there's certain things we need to look at in the house, and I need X, Y, and Z. And that moment right there, I remembered words from Uncle Toby now. Growing up is not easy. So I thought maybe growing up was just, I'll do whatever the hell I want to do, you know? But the moment you bring somebody into your life, that person expects something of you, you know? And I think that's what made me grow up mentally, you know? I used to always run away from confrontations. Like I could never fetch somebody and tell them, listen, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, now it's a different ballgame. Like I'm much more open about what I have to say to you. I'll tell you what I have to tell you, and however you take it is your problem. And then when the kids started coming up, the responsibilities started adding up. And when that started adding up, that just made me even think differently, see life differently, see fighting differently. Before I looked at fighting and it was I'm doing it for myself. Now I look at fighting and it's like, I'm not just doing it for myself, but doing it for them. The motivation that she gives me, the support, it's crazy. The young me, the dumb me, used to make all these dumb decisions. But today I don't regret them, you know? I feel like those decisions led me to where I am today. Well, I feel more of my life being my life than ever before, you know? Okay, let's start with Sean. Sean is the elder one, he's turning 8. You know, when he's at home, you wouldn't even say he's there. You know, if he's not drawing, he likes to draw. So he likes to draw these characters. So all the cartoons they watch, he likes to just draw them. I did not know Sean for 7 years. Him and his mom they were away. The last year sometime I met him and brought him into my life, and ever since we've been working things out. You know, he's coping, he's all right. He's doing good. And then Maxwell, Maxwell's a character. So Maxwell goes into character with every small little thing. You'll call him now, and all of a sudden he's a Power Ranger. And then when he starts punching, when you hold his hand, he's like, I'm Igeu Kabesa, and then he carries on. They're a bundle of joy, especially Max and Sean when they put together, when they start playing together. So now Max has only realized that, okay, I've got an older brother. You know, it's not just me alone. And the way they play, it's actually fun. I like the way they come together. He doesn't see any division between the two, so which is good. I like that. I think everybody's always told me information, what I must do to be an adult, being a grown-up, but it never really clicked until she stepped into my life. I know I'm not perfect, but I try to be, you know? And everything else is just because of her. So I need to make sure that this fire that's burning here keeps on burning.
With difficult lessons learned from his last fight, Kabesa entered the Hexagon to face a resurgent veteran, Ashley Calvert, who before this bout was coming off 2 spectacular wins.
So with the Ashley Calvert fight, when it was presented to us, we actually didn't want it. I mean, we were like, well, you know. But anyways, we were like, you know, it's a good comeback fight for me. We took the fight, which was good. So with that fight, we just wanted to get in there, throw the flying knee, hope it lands, and just be like, oh, spectacular knockout, you know? But then when that didn't happen, we just knew we were gonna finish him on the ground. I mean, there was nothing Ashley was bringing onto the table that was gonna be threatening in any way. We just wanted to go play there, you know? We just wanted to get in there, we just wanted to feel the waters, get in the cage, play around a little bit. But that didn't turn out that way because, you know, I don't know. I think sometimes as soon as a person holds me, they start to feel like this guy's stronger than what I actually thought he is. And then they start having that fear, and then they start having that giving up mentality. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we wish to have more cage time with the last fight, which didn't happen. We'll see with this fight.
Coming from a country synonymous with African fighting talent, Simoes has no doubt that his outstanding natural ability is embedded in his national DNA.
You know, what makes Angola tough, growing up, I think we always play fighting. Like, you know, I don't know, like, I think we were just born to fight. Like, you know, we just enjoy that feeling that fight gives us. If, for example, in Brazil, if the thing is football, in Angola, I think our thing is fighting. On my debut, a lot happened on that day. I was asking myself, how the hell did I end up in this place? Because normally I would just do MMA for the sake of the fitness, but then everything just happened at that moment. I started thinking, like, as I was about to fight, I was like, wow, I'm actually making a professional debut. No, just before the fight, I remember I looked at Tupac, he was smiling. And I told myself, why is this guy smiling? I realized that's his way of dealing with maybe pressure or something. I think he kicked me, then I kicked him back, then I think I took him to the ground, then he defended, then I took his back, then I think I sacked in the rear naked choke. So yeah, it was beautiful. At the Faiz fight, as he walked in the cage, he was enjoying the moment. And that's something I also took a lot from the fight. I didn't enjoy the moment. I was just like, oh, I have to fight. And then that's why I was like, okay, I need to enjoy more. Like, let things happen. If it was meant to be, let it be. I enjoyed that fight a lot. And I remember after that fight, like, both of us would look at each other, we shook hands, and we were actually glad that fight happened because I felt like it brought the best out of us. With the Claude fight, I wasn't actually looking for the finish. It was more of like, pick your shots, see how it goes. Then I remember I caught him with an uppercut and it stunned him. So I was like, oh, wow. And I saw him moving back, so like I went for the kill. But then I remember when I went for the kill, I was like, hey, let's not put all the eggs in the basket. Pick your shots again, pick your shots. So yeah, I got the finish.
In what promised to be a real barn burner of a matchup, Simoes' next test was Scotland's highly touted Keir Harvey.
The Keir Harvey fight, I think on any other day, that would be a title fight. Like, you know what I mean? If it was 5 rounders, like the MMA fans would be in for a treat. I felt like same scenarios happened from my previous fights, and I was like, I've been here before. Even when I had Kia Harvey hurt, I felt like in my previous fight I had guys hurt, then I would just go for the kill. At one point I was like, no, you got him hurt, relax, take your shot. Coach Mone, at the end of the second round, he told me that it's one apiece, so we needed to decide this round. So he asked me to be smart about the decisions I make. I think at one point, maybe on the third round, I tried taking his back. So, we're trying to give him a taste of his own medicine. It was a tough guy. I tried to finish, but then he kept going forward. I felt like he brought the best out of both of us. And I gave him my respect to him, and I let him know, like, brother, thank you so much for the war. And I hope the MMA fans enjoy this fight. There's always something to learn from every fight, every training session, everything in life. There's always something to learn from it.
Time draws near, and now the stage is truly set to crown Africa's greatest warrior in the 145-pound division.
This fight is like a history fight if you think about it, It's gonna be the first guy to have won the belt 3 times in the organization. Another opportunity for myself and Walter to regain the belt again. I mean, when I got to Walter, we had the belt, then we lost the belt, and then we won the belt, and then we lost the belt, and now we're gonna go back and win the belt. It's a good thing for me at the end of the day. I feel like I look at my opponent and I just can't see him beating me in any way, I just try to picture it. I mean, maybe I should be really like sleepy. Then he can catch me or something. But otherwise, now I think this fight is very important for us,
I love this fight. I feel like this fight will bring the heat back to the featherweight division. I want people to be like, oh, the featherweight division is a division of murders. That's what this fight is gonna bring to the featherweight division.
With the camp that he's in, he's probably got good energy. I think also with him coming up, having a good win on an international person. But I think the difference here is the capacity of wrestling that I have, the knowledge that I have, the time spent in the cage that I have, and where my mindset is sitting down right now. I'm the wrong person for him to be fighting, I'm literally wrestling nationals a week before my fight. How crazy is that? He's sitting there training his off, which is good, but my mindset is competitive ready. That's the difference, I'm not training ready, I'm competitive ready.
He's been a champion for a reason. He's an awesome fighter. He's one of those fighters that he'll make you pay if you make unnecessary mistakes. He's the type of fighter that, will bring the best out of me, and that's what you want. You don't want to play safe at all times. You want to challenge yourself.
The flat-footedness is going to be a problem for him. That's one. Lack of movement, head movement. And then, of course, if you try, there's nothing he's got when it comes to wrestling. I don't think he's got a good jits game when he's on his back. I think he's just average, Like, he's just one of these guys that just walked into a gym, learned how to throw a jab and a cross, learned how to sprawl, and all of a sudden they think they're the next best thing, Whereby we've been grinding since we were 8 years old. I mean, it's a different ballgame. 20 years of wrestling, it's different.
That's his opinion. Let him think that way. I have no problem with that. We'll see on fight night. Whether he is underestimating me, whether he's not underestimating me, it's up to him. So I'll just focus on myself, on Nerik. The biggest focus is on Nerik, on how Nerik needs to stay ready to perform on fight night.
I don't see ways he's gonna come that's gonna be any good, But yeah, his stand-up is his whole though, I can tell you that now. And I'm gonna make sure that I prove it to everybody that his stand-up is his whole. Watch him shoot for takedowns on the wrist and fail. Watch it. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be cool. Watch me laugh while it's happening.
When it comes to underestimating someone, you will start asking questions that you will not have answers for. Everything in life, there's prices to pay. Any further than that, I'll just elaborate during the fight. I'll just show you in the fight.
The welterweight division of the EFC has witnessed the rise of 2 title contenders. Fighting out of the blue corner is Polokwane's own wrestling specialist, HP van Staden, who is potentially 1 fight away from facing the champion. But then in the red corner, so is Peace X Nguphane, a devastating kickboxer originally from Potchefstroom and training out of the House of Tinkerbell in eastern Johannesburg.
My name is Xolile Peace Nguphane. The X name comes from the first name, Xolile, and I just added the comunicado behind it because that's what I do to all of them. Excommunicado. Shut him up. 2013, I finished my matric. I was well-mannered though, but not disciplined. 2014, I went to Pretoria to study brand building. That's when I met Aniset and Mulumba Chilumba. I dropped out of school and I moved back to Poch 2016. Parents very mad at me, didn't go to school, literally just watching fights. That's when I went to Close Combat Solutions, which was run by Nguphane back then. My parents gave me a year. If this doesn't work, promise us, let's make a deal, you come work for us. November of the same year, I fought my first amateur fight. That's when I won it. Spoke to my dad, said, let's give him more time. And we've never looked back. We here now, 6 years down the line. The discipline just kept me going. This is what I was supposed to do. Never looked back. I'm a 5-star middleweight champion versus welterweight champion, 3-time national champion, 2019, 2020, and 2021. It's God's grace. He laid the path before me and he's been with me every step of the way. My family also has never left me.
Yeah, it's nice having a brother who fights. You know, you have someone who protects you. And the longer he fights, it inspires me to want to, defend myself and work hard.
What, does he have any annoying habits?
Yes.
MMA wasn't always the plan for HP Tropical van Staden, who initially had hopes of reaching the top in provincial rugby.
When I was young, we had a rugby coach who was quite revolutionary, and he introduced wrestling into our training. So in the off seasons, we would wrestle. So I wasn't like a formal wrestler going to the wrestling club. We were wrestling at school on the rugby field. I was so involved in so many sports, it was very difficult to do wrestling as well. I was playing rugby, cricket, cross country, doing swimming, tennis, athletics, and I was doing everything on a provincial level. When school stopped, I was training until late at nights, every day of the week. We started 12 years ago, back when there was no MMA at all. So we were kind of like the pioneers of MMA. We would watch YouTube videos and we would make up our own moves. We just went with the flow and hoped for the best. I stopped playing rugby and I just started doing MMA. The rugby started becoming a chore, where the MMA is like, I wake up and I'm happy. I never regretted it. I love the sport so much. I've given so much for the sport. It's a good time to feel that it's coming back, all the work I've put in.
After a stellar amateur record, Nguphane stepped up to test himself on the big stage by turning professional with the EFC. Enter the Gorilla Wallace Okoso.
Gorilla Okoso, big guy, strong guy, 0-3. So I knew he's a guy that was desperate for a win. It was my debut, I wanted to win. As the fight started, took him down, went to the ground, couple of shots there, and then there was a turtle position that he ended up on. 2 shots landed at the back of the head. The first one, total mistake. The second one, he turned into it, and that's what got the ref to stop the fight. But it was amazing to see that he had so much time to explain to the ref what happened. And as soon as they asked him, does he need a doctor, all of a sudden he can't walk. Respect to the judges and the ref's decision, but to Okoso, totally lost respect for me. To me, I'm still undefeated in EFC. It was just a warm-up fight for me. When I got the call about BT, I was like, let me go in there and take this win. A legend in the game, he's been in here for years, he's fought one of the great names in the sport. So it was really an honor. The Von Flue choke was really something that Nathaniel Komana, he actually just said, when you go for a Von Flue, just adjust your hand grips and put your weight on your shoulder, not on the elbow. As soon as we hit the ground and PD went for my neck, I was like, boom, here it is. Here it is. It's right here for me. And as soon as I trapped his arm around my neck, it was all she wrote. From day one till then, it was my first ever submission.
Making it to the top of mixed martial arts sometimes requires benefiting from defeat and turning it into a lesson and growing from a loss, as Van Staden was about to learn in his pro debut.
Fight history, the first few fights, I didn't train. I had no excuse. I knew I didn't train. So I wasn't too hard on myself, but it sucked losing. I wanted to make it right. I've learned when to take your calculated risk. So instead of 3 minutes left going for an arm bar to the bottom, pressure him, cook him to the bone. He'll give you the arm. Then you take it the last 20 seconds,
and you go for it. The Christian Bobo fight was my first victory as a professional fighter. Just went in there, threw some shots, took him down. What actually happened is he hit me early with a shot that gave me a huge hematoma on my eye. 2 minutes into the fight, I couldn't see anymore. My head was just going, take him down, finish him now. You're not losing this fight. So that's what I did. I learned that hard work is mandatory for the sport. There's no shortcuts. There are people out there that live and breathe this. You're gonna end up in the cage with them, and if you didn't give 100%, you're gonna be in trouble. Well, the Swanepoel fight, there was a lot of pressure on me, because now I'm 1-2. I just wanted to get the victory. My mindset changed on my game plan, and I enforced my game plan quite easily. So the bell rang, and I knew Robert was gonna come swinging. So I was just putting pressure on him, waiting for him, and as he came forward, I threw a side kick. And then after that, I just timed the takedown, took him down easily, clamped his leg, started throwing elbows, went into mount, and just finished the fight.
The East Rand of Johannesburg is home to EFC middleweight legend JP Kruger's House of Tinkerbell, where Nguphane finds himself preparing for his upcoming #1 contender fight.
Coach JP, Nathaniel Komana, and Gift Walker always met at fights. My last loss in the amateur, they were there. They were like, dude, don't worry, this happens to the best of us. I was this close to leaving, but went to House of Tinkerbell and they pulled me out of that dark hole. Never been happier, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Having a coach that's so good at jiu-jitsu, but yet so great with stand-up. Well, I get the best of both worlds from one coach, and it's amazing, it's great, I love it.
Nguphane's latest bout was against battle-tested veteran Cape Town's Bruno Makulu.
Bruno, at the weigh-ins, he was like, you better come to fight, because I'm coming to fight. I was very nervous when it came to Bruno. After BT, I felt he was like a level above BT. The game plan was, let's see how strong he is. And then I took him down and I held him there the first round. And I was like, he's not as strong as I thought he is. No way. Second round we went in, went for a double, made a mistake by putting my hips next to his hip. He used his judo, put me on the ground and he held me there, but didn't do damage, nothing whatsoever, you know, and I went to the third round and I was like, okay, let's finish him. We're not gonna go to the ground anymore. Let's put him away. He went there and he took me down. I ended up on top, threw one elbow, he just saw blood and he was like, I'm not having it.
There is no one true way of preparing for a fight. Some athletes stick to the tried and tested formula of physical technique and discipline, but others find that the mind can be trained to become a very powerful tool if one is prepared to seek out the methods of the mind.
So meditation is basically this. You focus on your breath and you soon realize we are here in time, this moment now. I'm speaking to you, you hear this. And it brings you back to the moment and to think consciously about what is important. The fact that we've got one life, we're just here for a small blip in time. You got to do something, so why not make the most of it? At the given fight, I was also kind of stressed for that one because he's a striker, he's a good striker. So I knew I was going to have to get past his hands and his feet to get the takedown. And he was throwing knees from the beginning. He almost caught me with one, and then I went back first, regrouped, took him down. He tried to stand up, passed his guard, got into mount, and then I just played the patient game. Started throwing elbows and cooked him to the bone. I think Rudy or the vet shouted 1 minute left, and he turned, and I just put pressure on his back. Just the pressure from the back, he started tapping. There's not a lot of clubs that can apply this pressure. There's not a lot of teammates that can give you this kind of pressure. If you go on our mats, everyone's a savage. There's no easy rolls. So that's just our style. We just break people. We break them mentally, we break them physically, and then we take the choke.
The welterweight division will once again have a #1 contender, and only one will walk forward and face the champion. It's do or die for both athletes with everything on the line, and it goes down on Saturday, the 16th of July.
Since I started fighting, I've just fought guys who only had experience over me. So now I'm going up against a guy that is not only experienced, but he's just as young, he's just as hungry, so I'm really looking forward to it. HP is a short, bulky, stocky wrestler with rushing double leg takedowns. He's very good when it comes to being heavy, and he's very patient. And I like that about him, that he doesn't rush. He takes his time, takes his shots. I'm just gonna stuff those takedowns, 3 takedowns, and it'll be over.
I don't think of my opponent. Honestly, I'll try and get something to say about it, but I don't think about him. Winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. He can do whatever he wants. He can study my game plan. I'm focused on my game plan, and I know I can enforce it. I work in silence. I work really hard. I'll be there when it's time to say checkmate.
Him beating me is him taking me down and keeping me there for 3 rounds. That's the only thing. He's just gonna come there, wrestle me, stay heavy, control. That's about it. As for kicking, punching, he throws a jab over right hand and shoots. He threw that twice in his whole fights. I know I'm better than him, stand-up wise. He might probably be stronger, but we'll see if he's stronger for long. And I know how good I am.
Beast is the kind of guy that can give me a little bit of an uphill with defense on his jiu-jitsu and his wrestling. He's the perfect kind of matchup for me. Maybe we would strike a bit. I think it would be an interesting battle on the ground with the jiu-jitsu. I think he got submission of the year last year, didn't he? So perfect. Let's put that submission of the year up to test. Let me put his jiu-jitsu up to test, and let me see what he's got. The guy works the hardest, puts in the most. At the end of the day, you will win, and that's it.
The fact that people can now see me as for who I am, I'm happy and I'm blessed. Now that we're going to a world title, it's a different stage, different ball game. What keeps me going is what the sport has made me. We're working on all aspects, the ground, the stand-up. I'm going to give this my everything, and may the X-Men win.